I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you please stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for coming out tonight. We welcome you to the City of Shelton Commission meeting. The first item on our agenda is going to be some commission reports, and we're going to have those some proclamations read. And what we could do is we could start on something first, unless we are ready to read those proclamations. Are you getting close?
Yes.
Okay.
The first proclamation we have, and we wanted to announce, is that April is Public Records Month, and we have a proclamation for that. Whereas the management of public records, information, and data is very critical to every government agency for effective and efficient operations and in support of an open and transparent government, and whereas technologies for creating and storing records, information, and data continue to expand the amounts of information that can be created and acquired, and whereas control and governance of records, information, and data is necessary for the reduction of risk, liability, and associated cost, as well as compliance with global standards and practices. And whereas the citizens of the City of Shelton recognize the important role and services provided by the records and information professionals in order to protect, safeguard, and make accessible public records, now therefore the City Commission of the City of Shelton, Washington, do hereby proclaim April 2016 as Records and Information Management Awareness Month. And we wanted the Commission to bless this proclamation tonight, April 4th, 2016.
All right, I'd be happy to sign that.
Okay, and I just wanted to comment that the governor has also proclaimed this month as Public Records Month, and so we're going to kick off a program and try to get everything in databases and everything, and this is kind of our kickoff month to where we're going to start that effort. So I appreciate that.
All right, are we having another proclamation?
We do, and it's about volunteers, which
I think we already did.
Oh,
She
okay.
wanted
I said,
to
aren't we
have
supposed to bless it?
You
wanted to
can.
know. She
Yes.
just did, did she?
I bless it.
There you go.
You make it. Yes, thank you.
Well, you
Kathy.
said bless it, so
Yes. Thank you.
You're
And we
welcome.
can also, this next one, because it's for volunteers, and of course, we know how important volunteers are to us. So, whereas experience teaches us that government by itself cannot solve all of our nation's social and economic problems, and whereas volunteers are vital to our future as a caring and productive nation, and whereas as citizens of this community, volunteers have undertaken many responsibilities that promote the general welfare of the city. And whereas in providing these services, volunteers have demonstrated a spirit of personal concern and wholehearted willingness to help others. And whereas volunteers reflect the commitment of neighbors helping neighbors in the finest sense of that tradition. And whereas these individuals are most deserving of appreciation and thanks, whereas our volunteer force is a great treasure, and now therefore this Shelton City Commission does hereby proclaim the month of April 2016 as Volunteer Month in the City of Shelton, Washington. And we'd like you to bless this one as well, this fourth day of 2016.
Yeah, we all bless it.
So,
bless it.
Bless it.
thank
There you go. Thank you very much, Vicki Lund, for reading those for us. Next is our Commission weekly reports, and so Commissioner Moore, did you have some things on your calendar?
I have a few things on my calendar, but I just want to celebrate the volunteer appreciation. I think that's something that we don't do often enough. We don't say thank you, and we have a number of our city volunteers sitting here in the audience, and so I will personally say thank you to all of you, and I'm sure that everyone at some time or other has volunteered, and if not, it's very rewarding. So, yay, Volunteer Appreciation Month.
Thank you.
So this week, I have as usual, a pretty light week for the beginning of the month. I have on Thursday a visioning implementation board meeting, which is exciting. We're moving ahead with our visioning process. I also wanted to announce that there is now a Shelton Visioning Project Facebook page. And it's pretty bare right now, but there will be updates on it. We'll be using it as a way of communicating to the public when projects are done that are related to the visioning process. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be going to Girls Night Out, which is the Retail Association of Downtown Shelton. It's an event that they're having to support Community Lifeline, which it sounds like a really good time. So if you have any questions about that, you can stop in at Community Lifeline or down at Shelley Barnett's business, the Coda Street Emporium, and Off the Walls Art Gallery. So there you go. Should be fun.
All right, thank you. Commissioner McDowell?
Yes. Tuesday, I have my left board meeting, and that stands for Law Enforcement Officers, Firefighters, and we manage their pensions for them when they're not fighting fires or arresting people anymore. So anyway, we do that. Tuesday morning, I'm going to attend the county commission meeting, and Thursday, I'm going to have my weekly briefing. And that's it for me.
Very good. And for my schedule this week, I will not be attending Girls Night Out. But, not that I wouldn't like to, it probably wouldn't fit the...
Your wife may enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe I could somehow as representative of the city or something. But, well, I just want to talk a little bit about last Friday. We, all three commissioners, went to a great event. It was the groundbreaking of a new home for Habitat for Humanity, and they're looking to build one, if not two, inside the city limits this year. And so we all went there, and I had the opportunity of taking my shovel and putting it into the ground and doing that thing. And so it's good to see that they have are moving forward and that they're building on a city lot, and it was a good event. I will be this Wednesday attending the Economic Development Council Subcommittee on regulations, and that completes our weekly commission reports. Next on the agenda is a general public comment period, and it appears we have several people who want to talk about something. So what we can do is do that now, probably, or we can do it in 5 minutes after we've gone through our consent agenda, and a couple, and that's about it almost. So we can either do that all now, or we can do it later. So I guess, and later is only about 5 minutes away. So I guess that's a dilemma.
I think they all want to speak under item C. So
Item
Amy
C.
Wilson.
Item C under which?
She didn't put the subject, but the rest are about conservation.
Okay. Then this is just under the general public comment
It is,
period.
yes.
Okay, so if you just state your name for the record, welcome.
My name is Amy Wilson. Start?
Yeah,
Yep.
go ahead.
Okay. I'm here today with many of these lovely people to bring something to your attention. I'm a relatively new member of the Shelton community, having moved here 2 years ago. And I was drawn to Shelton for a number of reasons. You have wonderful access to the Olympic Peninsula, the ocean, Olympia, Seattle. The cost of living and housing is attractive. But a big part of my decision was the beauty of the area with its hills, its mature trees, and the historic downtown full of hanging flower baskets. So I bought an older home in the Ingleside Hill area, and I've been very happy with my decision. Then I found out that there were plans in place to log the hillside from the backside of 16th Street out to Highway 101 and north to Goldsboro Creek. This is an area that would be right at the second Shelton exit and be one of the first things people visiting Shelton would see of the area. It would also have a negative impact on the Ingleside Hill community. Logging trucks driving up Turner, increased road noise from Highway 101, and increased wind and dangerous conditions for the neighborhood's many older growth trees, and a generally blighted look for the homes in the area for decades. But the biggest impact would be to the logged area itself. There's a great diversity of trees in that space, including some older growth. There are existing trails down to the creek where people have walked their dogs and their kids for decades. The area is perfect for a nature preserve or a community park. We have learned that Menke Lumber is willing to sell the property, and the Capital Land Trust organization was working to raise funds to preserve it. The city itself has an interest in the property as part of its vision for parks and recreation. This trail could actually be connected with the existing Ravenna and Goldsboro trails to create a unique walking experience in the future. Bottom line, we in the community would like to see the city and county work with the Land Trust and Menke to find a mutually beneficial way to create a beautiful public space for future Shelton generations. We're asking that action be taken now before the logging commences, because once the old trees are gone, the opportunity will be lost forever. And one last thing, we recognize that your first reaction may be to point out that this property is not inside city limits, but it does abut the city line, and the city has a vested interest in through its urban growth strategy and the concern of its citizens. This problem has a solution. We just need to all be forward-thinking, come to the table, and work together to create and agree to a plan and a timeline. In pursuit of that solution, I would ask that you let us in the community know what we can do to support you in this endeavor. We are all very motivated to help you find a solution that works for everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You must have practiced that to a 3-minute time frame or something. 'cause
I
you-
wanted to get
you
as
came
much
right-
in as I could.
You came in right on track. Thank you very much. Next.
Sally McCurry.
I have the same feelings that she has about Shelton. It's a beautiful area, and coming from an area not quite so pretty, I think you can come to take it for granted. It's easily lost. The area that she's talking about is an incredible ecosystem. It's not just some trees. That ecosystem includes a salmon creek. Those old growth trees are not old growth, but old trees, large trees, beautiful trails, and birds. It's a birder's paradise, and I'm a birder. So you've got to listen to how many birds I have identified since moving here. There are not only stellar jays and ravens and crows, but evening grosbeaks. I've been feeding them 2 years now. 15 came to the feeder this year before the logging load was put in. Now I have no birds coming. I hope they come back, but if they don't, I hope they found a better place. There are Oregon juncos, pine siskins, spotted towhees, 2 different species of woodpeckers, a mated owl pair that nest in one of those big trees just back behind our property, song sparrows and every other kind of sparrow that I'm not sure I can identify, varied thrushes, mourning doves, yellow-breasted and white-breasted nuthatches. There's a hawk nest, not too far from my chicken house. But that hawk hasn't gotten one yet, and it's beautiful to watch. I can't even imagine how many birds I haven't identified yet. When these trees are taken out, that ecosystem, all the way down through those salmon, are damaged, from the birds to the fish and to the citizens of Angleside, because it is going to impact our homes. You said something about a vision process. I'd like for Shelton to see this as a vision, what we could do together with the county, with Land Trust, with the Audubon Society, and make a preserve, a park that is welcoming to both animals and every tourist that drives up 101 looking for something to attend. If you can get them off 101, you can get them in Shelton, and people can see, like we do, what a great place this is to live. So we're hoping for your cooperation and your vision and your knowledge to be used to help us work this out to the best for all of us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Dave Salzer.
Good evening, Mayor Kranz, Commissioners. Thanks for this opportunity. My name is Dave Salzer. I live at 427 South 16th up in Angleside. Our home is on the county side of 16th, so we're more county than city, but we're all part of the same roads, so it doesn't matter. We live about 100 yards from the Turner Street entrance to this trail. It's been there as long as we've lived here and probably been there long before we ever moved here. My home sits at the top of a steep slope that looks directly into the proposed logging area. We are the second to the last house on 16th, heading north. At the risk of admitting to trespassing, I've spent many hours walking through the myriad of trails, old-growth fir trees, and wildlife that lives there. One of my forays took me all the way down to the edge of Goldsboro Creek, where I could have followed the creek right to downtown Shelton or left to Highway 101. There aren't many urban places like this. I hope that we can collectively, I mean that collectively, find a way to preserve this gem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Black.
Hi, I live on 508 South 16th Street, and just basically wanted to say I agree with all these people here that it's about the trees, obviously, but then another aspect is I don't think a lot of you realize is that the safety issue involved with the logging. I'm a professional truck driver, and I can personally tell you that that Turner Avenue is not designed for truck traffic. It will destroy Turner Avenue. So Mankey's are they willing to pay for that to get all completely repaved? As a taxpayer, I'm not, I don't feel the burden should fall on us as to repave Turner Avenue. Also, another safety factor I don't think a lot of you realize is trucks don't stop on a dime. They just don't. You've got a logging trucks going up and down that road, and there's a park at the bottom with little kids that keep going out and down the street. So what happens when a little kid decides they're going to go after their ball or something when they get down to the bottom? They get hit by a truck and killed. Anybody here want to have blood in their hands from a kid? I don't. And then another aspect that I don't think a lot of you realize is that the maneuverability, when they do get to the bottom of the hill, how are they going to, you can't make that turns without going to oncoming traffic and get around that corner safely. So how are you going to get traffic control with log trucks? But I guess, just in short is, seems to be a whole lot of factors that have been considered out of this, and hope the city can step up and, preserve those trees and keep the things the way they are. Thank you.
What was your name again?
Mike Black.
Okay, thank you.
Alan Radke.
My name's Alan Radke. I live on the 16th and May, which is just a county line. I used to live in Olympia. Olympia has a beautiful park called Watershed Park. Some of you know about it. In the 1940s and 50s, the city was going to log that place, log Watershed, and the community got up in arms and said no. Now there's a beautiful park there for posterity's sake, surrounded by huge homes, but in the middle of the city, there is within the city limits, is Watershed Park. It's on Henderson Avenue. Beautiful place, monster trees, old growth trees. 20, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, that area up there is going to be surrounded by homes. Why can't we have a park up there? And Mankey's and all these different trust companies, Capital Trust is looking into this. I would like to say, and I think most of us up here, before any logging is done, let's wait and study this out to see if we can all somehow work together to save this. Get the California developers in here, and they're going to take everything they want and whack everything down. It's happening all over Olympia. We don't need that in our town. We can save that piece of ground. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it. All right, well, I greatly appreciate your comments. You're doing the right thing by organizing and coming to this commission and expressing what you're looking into. I'm not very aware about this. I think I might have heard something a few months ago about the possibility of some logging being done in that area. But this is, like you say, it is an effort between you, the city, the county, and the possibility of the Mankey family, and possibly Capital Land Trust, and I am open to what you're suggesting. I have to say I'm open to it. We got laws and, and stuff, but I need to know more about it before I could probably say much more. But that's my personal kind of feeling on it. And so all I can say is you've done the right thing in coming in with the group and saying this is what we're looking into, this is what we like. And so all I can say is I need more information, and especially we always consult with our lawyers and all this stuff too. So, but if the county and if the city and if you and if something can get together, or somehow this can work, I am open for that. Did you have another comment, Mr. Salzer?
We'll be going to the county commission meeting tomorrow.
Okay. So I don't know how my fellow commissioners feel, but again, nothing's a slam dunk, but the only way anything gets done is if you organize and you are, we try to go through all of the hoops we possibly can if that's possible. So we are a tree city, by the way, so aren't we officially a tree city?
We are.
So, we love trees, if that helps anybody.
I would love it if you could all walk that trail with the community, just so you can see what we're talking about. It's a beautiful piece of property.
I would like to say that I'm very intrigued by this, and I vaguely remember hearing something about a logging plan, but because it's outside the city, we probably was no reason for us to review it. I'm really intrigued by the work that you've done so far, and I am known to the dismay of many of our public works crews as being a tree hugger. And so I'm really interested to talk with you more about that. I do have a meeting with representatives from Cascade Land Trust next week. And so I would be interested in getting information as far as the size and the exact location, because we are working on a long-range visioning plan to put a trail along Goldsboro Creek. And you probably know that we're also in the process of acquiring much of the right-of-way from the Simpson Company, and so some of that is probably adjacent to what you're talking about as well. And I would just like to invite everyone to visit our Teresa Johnson Community Trail if you haven't yet. It's a beautiful trail up the ravine off of Laurel Street. So anyway, great. So somebody contact me later.
Sounds good. All right, well, we will talk about it, and we'll keep everybody in the loop on this. Thank you very much for coming out, and now we will go forward with the rest of our fairly short meeting tonight. Thank you. All right, are we ready for a reading of the consent agenda? Dave, are you ready? Are you ready to go? He was going to do it, huh?
Me.
Oh, Theta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we ready? We're ready for that. All right.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Theta.
1, vouchers numbered 11288 through 11363 in the amount of $795,003.85. Number 2, handwritten warrant 11287 in the amount of $23,814.80 to the Department of Revenue. Commission meeting minutes from the business meeting of March 21 of 2016 and the study session of March 28 of 2016. And finally, the Shelton Arts Commission appointment of Ms. Amy Cooper with the term ending December 31st of 2019.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
I second it.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent agenda passes. There is no old business in tonight's meeting. There's no new business, but there is the possibility of an administration report. So I will turn this over to our city administrator at this time.
No report, Your Honor.
Mr. Dave O'Leary, thank you. There is another general public comment period. If anybody else wants to say anything else, it's 3 minutes, and if anybody else has anything to come, you have to sign in and then state your name for the record, please.
My name is Jess Mosley, and I do live in the city. And my concern is twofold. One is we already have a road up there that has a weight restriction on it, and I think it's probably due to a poor road bed, leaking water pipes, aquifer draining, not sure. But if you've ever been down on a railroad after a good rain, you'll notice the gullets on both ways of traffic, because they do have the heavy-duty trucks do come through town. Turner from about 10th Street to the top is in pretty bad shape. I can probably point out 4 or 5 places in the center of the road where there's probably a leaking water pipe underneath, and I'm not real sure that the road will withstand the weight, however many trucks are going to run through there, but they're about 80,000 pounds. Another thing I have a concern about is the noise that's going to be generated. If you walk down into the wooded area, and the closer you get to 101 and the intersection of Railroad 101, the noise level increases. And I'm sure that when those trees go down, then you're probably going to have that noise level down on the residential streets up there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Seeing none coming forward, is there any administration final touches for this evening?
Tonight, Your Honor.
Okay. Our next meeting will be April 11th, 2016 at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. This meeting is adjourned.